actually love about the new Discord update. And I was like just like looking around to see if we have an option here on like community calls. Is you have like this soundboard now, which you can use to play different sounds when you're in a call with a friends. And I was yesterday in a Discord chat with one of my friends, and I saw like this option, and it basically works as emojis from different servers, but as like a sound effects, and that could add some spiciness and angle for your community calls. But I don't seem to find this option here. Uh, yeah,
I think they are like on these state channels. They might be disabled. Maybe even for the better in Campfire chance it would be enabled. But yeah, well, I believe everybody has their own take on soundboards. Uh, it's like with actually with emojis and hashtags and everything. It's good if you do it tastefully, because I've been around a couple other community calls, listening to people talk, and yeah, sometimes when they just start spamming the air horns and stuff like that, not the biggest fan. But it actually would be really cool to like create a Zoomer specific soundboard. Um,
uh,
yeah,
true, true. But I mean, that's usually with everything. The moment
yeah. Good
it's
point.
not done
Good point.
tastefully, it's just
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
feels like too much. Yeah, I mean, I think we can start and GM to everybody. Happy to hop on our weekly tradition, our community call. This week we have Jackal back from touching the grass. I mean, maybe he can share how it was. I'm not sure. Most of us uh, do that occasionally. I mean, I'm joking, but super cool to have
You,
Jackal back.
uh, thank you. Yeah, Euler's joking. He doesn't touch grass, but apparently it's real and it's outside. Who would have thought? But yeah, good to be back. Before we start, I want to quickly take the second, and I will repeat this at the end. I want to take a second to kind of uh, establish the rules for the weekly uh, mass giveaway for participants. Uh, guys, I'm very meticulous in like everything, and I actually do go like honestly. I've been here with you guys for so long that like out of the audience members, I already know like 90% of you, right? Through either tickets or interactions within the Discord. But I do check everybody because a lot of people come in with like alt accounts with accounts that have joined like a year ago and literally have never posted anything. And when I said that, then start to only interact within the confines of like the state channel. I do check for like genuinity of the players, because we're having this community call. We're talking to you guys. We're listening to what you have to think. We get your feedback, and naturally it only makes sense that the mask is raffled amongst only you guys. So yeah, so I'm kind of looking whether like the person is actually a real member. And yeah, so that's why if you don't see yourself within the list, uh uh yeah, that's fine. uh
Yeah, uh, yeah, and I mean, I can add my usual quote as always. Welcome to guys. Welcome to ask any questions or come on the stage and join us. So far, haven't happened, but yeah, feel free to request to speak or drop the questions in the chat. Um, as
we can do a
always, the
giveaway
format
for
is
amongst the people that only ask the questions on stage. But that's
yeah.
forced, no.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, and yeah, as always, we'll try to keep it casual, flowing through. We have prepared a few topics for today. We are still in this stage where Moon's planets are aligning, and there is still few things which we just can't share. So if you will ask about that, we'll try to carefully navigate, not to tell too much, but something is coming. Something is coming on April 9. Planets are aligning, and with every day they align closer to this date. If you've been following our Twitter, then you've probably seen like a few posts that Vaca is a bit scared, and I think he is right to be scared. Yeah, I will stop myself here and just not go deeper in that topic. But team has been super excited about the whole thing, and we've been working relentlessly for a good while. So yeah, I mean, I can't stop myself, but I'll try now. So
I'll do my best to interrupt if anything, but yeah, super exciting, and obviously, like I see, like people, and I would want to know like what's going on and like what's new and stuff like that, and unfortunately, here you just have to take our word for it, but that doesn't mean there aren't things we uh, don't want to talk about, and we can talk about a couple of things, and actually just before the start of the community call, I had a little chat with Euler, and I know, like, and we kind of addressed a big question we've had from like a lot of community members, and the big thing that's been missing for a good while, ambassador program, and yeah, and Euler introduced me to his vision to what could come in the future. And whilst we can't really talk about upcoming things in the game, you just have to see for yourself. I think that this could be a really great and amazing topic to kick things off because it's super exciting and so well thought out.
yeah, totally. I think that's kind of. I mean, on as a project, we kind of have to simultaneously focus on two things. Obviously,
Only
one of
two?
the things, I mean, like two main things. So, uh, like one of these things is building a great product and community around it. But then the second thing is actual distribution and making sure that there is a way to scale the vision and like bring in world uh, into what we're building. And so we'll definitely touch that in a moment. And I would really love to hear your feedback on many of these things, as lots of progress have been done, but nothing is set in a stone. But we already see few questions rolled in, so maybe let's address them first. What do you think? So
uh,
Copy Rex has a
yeah.
question: when will llamas become writing animals? Uh, Good question. We don't have like a specific date. What we can say is after planets align for sure, and yeah, they will be writable, which kind of actually taps in category on its own when it comes to extra set of utilities for disease. And you know, like llamas and being able to ride them gives you like a clear idea of how one specific use case besides fighting your disease could look like inside the Zevers. But from day one, we've been always like looking on kind of trying to crystallize the vision for the Zevers, which is we have turn-based battles, which basically is built around the Z's, and then at the same time we have strong components from RPGs. And I think the good game design and good practice always is to find a way to blend some existing things into something new, because like we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. And from what we've seen in the past, usually the best things would work are something which have already existed previously, and then they are just kind of reinvented in a bit different way. And with this, I'm trying to say that we are actively looking for ways how to involve like Z's inside the, like, let's label it as a world gameplay where you're like actively skilling or exploring the game and game world, and your Z could play a big role in that. And one example would be, let's say you have like this specific water kind of Z, which could be a great help at the fishing. Maybe there will be Z's which can help you to carry a bit of like stuff around. There will be Z's which will help you at the certain skills. And I mean, this kind of blends the Z's together with your skills. And then again, vice versa, where these skills and the shaman himself actively participates in a battle and become like one thing. So yeah, I mean, this is altogether like a pretty big topic, and we've been working on this for a while as well. And yeah, just a thought I wanted to share, and we'll probably we'll go deeper into that. So we have a few more questions here. Can we have a controller support for Zverse? I mean, at some point probably we could. This have it kind of breaks down to the way user experience is designed, and I remember a while ago we experimented where you would be able to walk around with just your arrows, but then again, lots of other things became really weird. Like I don't want to promise. I agree, having controller support would be pretty dope, but let's keep that on our backlog. Like I generally support the idea, but if we introduce something, it shouldn't introduce or break 10 other things. So yeah, the next question is probably to you, Jackal. It says, "Happy birthday!"
Yay! Thanks. So yeah.
By the way, he still accepts the gifts. So
Yeah. I'll attach my wallet address below. Jokes. I do not accept gifts, but thank you for the sweet words. So, corn loot pods to items. In one of the Discord AMAs, we talked about loot pods being removed, which will limit harvesting. What does this mean? The items we sacrifice in the game to get loot pod will no longer be sacrificable. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, but the way we would approach this is you would be able to sacrifice the corn items for the new type of loot pod, right? So effectively, you would still have this item sync for.
not necessarily. I think we will try to get rid of loot pods for good, at least for a while. So the mechanism we will be introducing for like destroying items.
What I was so the loot pod we were referencing previously, what the Jekka is talking about. Hope I pronounced it correctly. Is the social like quote unquote social for the emotes and stuff like that. That was the loot pod we were talking about.
Maybe we could have like a way to do that, but generally for burning or like destruction of the items. We're introducing a spell in shamanism spell book, which will be able to turn any item into currency. So and because we are like really looking into uh, moving towards direction of like fully player driven economy, most of the stuff should be created by the players, and that means loot pods are standing in our way. And actually, loot pods have been really like a temporary thing while we didn't have every skill in a place. So the corn loot pod will be gone for a good. So all of like the items in corn loot pod collection will finally have like a hard cap, which I think is healthy because uh, whenever we try to introduce something, we always think, okay, how this will impact our older players, people who have supported us, time wise, investment wise, and we want to make it good for them. So I remember when we introduced corn loot pods, everybody was like, fuck. Like the guys who got like genetic loot pods, they're up like 4x, 5x. Like the items from those loot pods are significantly increased in the price, and it's like not fair. And then again, we're in the same situation with the corn loot pods today, where once they will be cut, let's say in 1 year, we will be looking back and thinking, oh, the guys who actually had these items, had these loot pods in first place, will feel like valued. So yeah, when yeah, go on.
Yeah, sorry. No, go ahead. I just wanted to afterwards tackle the second part of the second point of the user's question. But you can
No,
wrap.
yeah, I actually was looking on the second part of the question, so you can just take that.
Yeah. So crafting new items. What kind of items we will be able to craft, and what we need for them to be able to be crafted. That's a fun way to put it. So regarding the game mechanics, so I know that's a lot of take in, especially when we're like talking like this. But let me quickly run you guys through mining and crafting and understand how does woodcutting play a part into it, and how does one create a new item into the game in whenever crafting comes on. So naturally you need to mine the ore. All right, let me walk you through like this exact way. You mine some iron. That's not like the starter ore, but you mine some iron, and you go over uh, to the forge, and you process it into an, let's say, iron bar, right? Additionally, you need to cut some wood and go over to the I think the work in progress name for it is the sawmill. You need to go over to the sawmill and process the wood. So because naturally you can't only mold a shield or like a weapon or armor out of pure mineral. You do need something to hold it together. So that's so long story short, and to make it super simple, you need wood and or to create a new item, be that armor or shield or a main hand item. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it brief just to not overly complicated. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So few more questions, and actually, I see maybe we can like we have one request to speak on the stage. If that's not a mistake. I mean, we can try. Let's see. I haven't been there, so this is weird. Okay,
I send the invite if.
Okay. So let's see.
And I think there's like pretty good questions coming in. I know that like there's one burning question that Conrad asked, but before I quickly want to squeeze in regarding the mask staking page, we're currently like communicating with Vault. It's I think and like an API issue on there, and we're working hard to get that back up. running. I don't think we have like an exact estimate for it, but you know, working hard. But yeah, Y-
Yeah. Okay. While we're waiting for him to come on the stage, we can address a few other ones. So, like question from Conrad, does Carol stepping down as treasurer lead change anything in your relationship with them? No, not necessarily. So from day one, I've been like in really close touch with both of them, John and Carol. So as sad as I am to see Carl to go, I strongly believe it won't change much for us, and I hope this may be like a pivotal point for maybe Treasure as well. So currently, I'm really optimistic, and I know they have lined up bunch of announcements, and I also know they have been cooking few things which they haven't really shared out with anyone, which I'm pretty bullish on. Obviously, I cannot even go in that direction to try to describe them because, yeah, it's not up to me to release these things to the public. But I know they've been working on quite a few things which I don't think anyone even realizes. So I'm really optimistic and bullish on the Treasure, and I think we'll still be in touch with Carl as he has been a pretty big part of our journey as well. So yeah, uh, that's definitely for me sad to see happening as he steps down. But I mean, things in life happens, and and I think sometimes it's for good. So like life works in mysterious ways. So we'll see how this thing plays out. So yeah, thanks for the question, and I think they will also address some of these things in some of their announcements coming out. So yeah, I'll leave that up to them. So
so long, like just to summarize, it does not affect our relationship with Treasure because we've had a great relationship with Treasure, not only parts of people,
yeah,
key people in Treasure.
yeah.
So
So
can you touch upon the one, like two questions above, a beautiful lives question regarding the leaderboard for Harvester donations?
okay. Yeah, I mean, we have like a partial leaderboard for that because uh, everything was tracked on chain, and if I recall correctly, we had a Dune dashboard that, but it didn't address every single donation which came to the booster wallet. Because every item, however, is tracked, I think, already on the published dashboard. So, anyways, I already added this to our analytics to pull it together, and I read like the next question is the same thing. Can I win a mask this week? Like I don't know. As Jackal, please. Yeah, so we'll get it done. I know this has been around. Uh, this hasn't been like on top of our priority list, but I know it's important to some of you guys. Even besides the fact the leaderboard is already fixed, so there is no competition ongoing. But we'll get this solved. So that's a bit of our like technical depth. And regarding the percentage of the Z tokens, we haven't like really set a specific number. It will really depend on our initial valuation, and what we want to make is just make it right to anybody who participated and feel that their efforts paid off. So we'll basically have a separate special pool for things such as harvested leaderboard, and we'll announce it along with other these mini pools, such as I wouldn't call it like a mini pools, but like special pools, and that will come along with other pools such as Zebras Mini and so on. So yeah, where is there anything else? Uh, so yeah, okay. It was shared in the previous community call that we can battle these in the open world. Does battling them provide any experience v tokens? So it will provide experience and it will provide rewards, but the way we plan design drop tables around them won't be like straight one-to-one with what we have on the dungeons. So we will definitely have rewards for the kills and experience for those kills as well. Is the game still migrating to Treasure Chain? Yes, nothing have changed, and the chain is already out, and like recent news haven't really impacted any of our like roadmaps or previous decisions. So, like I said, I'm super bullish on Treasure. I think we will prove that Treasure can make a really nice comeback and as whole with like a whole gamified sector itself. And I mean, um, it's interesting to see when things are going up. Everybody is just like blindly excited. When things are going down, everybody's like a bit bearish, which I mean makes sense. But I think this is where real wins are being made. It's not when things are going well. It's when things actually needs some job to be done. So yeah, how long the airdrop campaign will last? We haven't like set a specific time and date, but like I shared previously, with the way we want to do this is we really want to make it like actual play to airdrop campaign where people play the game, and that means we will be focusing on the content rather on a pure grind. And the current plan we have with that is introducing uh, periodically new quests for people to complete, which also will retain early participants. And by the way, Jackal is one of our quest masters, so I think he will be able to share lots more stuff in coming weeks around the quest design. And also, Jackal, by the way, on last community call, I brought out the idea that we could have community design quests as well. The process for that probably is a bit tricky, but for sure we can come up with a way to make this reality. And I really like the idea where community can actually be part of the story of Zevers, and once these quests are kind of made, they're pretty much forever imprinted in Zevers. So yeah, that's just one thing I wanted to point out.
Yeah, I think the tricky part that would definitely be not necessarily tricky, but we can actually, and that could be an event or a contest of a sort as well for like people to like dream up, conjure like continuations of like various stories we have within the game, and like if it obviously touches up on like a bigger part, but if it's a little like slice in life type of quest, it's different. But generally everything does like need to come through us and need to be like adjusted to match our style, our language, and our creative direction. So obviously there would be changes, but basically probably the way we would do it is if, for example, a user comes up with a quest and everybody in the community loves the concept of it, we would just closely work with the user and throughout the development of the quest. But yeah, I love that idea. I'm totally all for it.
Yeah, I think that's also a great way to for community to engage like on the creative side, and for sure all the ideas are open. However, like the thing about the quests is usually when you want to kind of play them, it should be about like solving the mysteries and figuring out stuff. So we'll have to have a really good balance where like community homemade quests will definitely have lots of things already like discussed and known for most of the guys. And when these quests actually arrive, it shouldn't be like, oh, I know literally everything what's about to happen now. So we'll have a really good mix there.
Oh, I can give a little and we've been and I know to some it might be obvious, for some not, but here's a little teaser for quests. While we do, like for example, when the skills come out, we do love to give you like brief overview. But the hopes for us is that you would just go out there, explore, learn about the skills, exchange information within each other. But for skills, we realize that it kind of does cause frustration. Uh, Having to figure out these like things. So we write the guides. But with quests, we are taking a radical approach of uh, we will never write guides for quests, and we will never tell people how to solve the quests or puzzles or whatever to come with it. And for you guys, you can look at it like as a collaborative effort to complete these quests and gain the rewards from the quests, or you can look at it as like uh, a knowledge which is a part of a unique selling point for your tribe, for example. Like for example, Crypto Cats is the first tribe to within their own community to solve a quest, and hey, perhaps nobody else can solve it, and now selling quest
Yeah.
answers for me. But yeah, so that's kind of like like the look in the dynamics that'll come with the quest.
Yeah. One thing I would like to address. So Vroom just pointed out really valid concern. Like from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you guys are trying to do much at once. I would like to see more concise tasks being carried out. You'll trust you guys. Okay. Like for the last 30 minutes, we've been actually answering questions. So it's more like different kinds of maybe a bit chaotic questions, which have started this community call. But we actually have a few things where we are laser focused, and we really like to just have you involved in many of these things. So that's one of the reasons why we really want to share a little bit of our thought process behind the things. So yeah, and I agree. We should actually publish a roadmap quite soon. So maybe once the planets are aligned, that could also be a really good point to introduce really precise roadmap, like what's coming next. Before we go, maybe the ambassador program, few things I just will quickly address. First, about V-token withdrawal, we roughly do them every 2 weeks. We have like this batch plan scheduled to be sent out by end of this week. So if you have like withdrawal pending for this while, be sure you will receive them by end of this week, probably today or tomorrow. Yeah, no stress about that. And regarding the TGE, I mean, it has to obviously happen after the Play Airdrop campaign, but there is so many things to achieve. And like I said in some of previous community calls, we've been in touch with every single exchange. But at the end of the day, it's not just about like listing; it's actually about making like the fundamental thing, which is having a really healthy community and having a really straight way to scale and actually scaling. So uh, we've been really laser focused on that, and listing on these exchanges is something what naturally follows that, not vice versa. Obviously, lots of BD involved, and with our like investor network and with our uh, general uh, like advisor network, I think we're a really good place, and this is something we obviously have been working on along with everything else. So we have one more request to speak on the stage. So maybe let's welcome that, and then let's move to ambassador thing. Uh,
Hello. Tough crowd. Tough crowd. All right. So,
well,
uh,
yeah, animated set
good try.
effects are still in progress. Yeah, he's writing something, so I'm just addressing Tyler. Like I like the idea, but for now, it's sitting in the backlog because, as fancy as it may seem, we still have to figure out and get good. Yeah, and trying to fix the optimization, because animated set effects, especially in the world, means that lots lots more stuff is happening on the screen. So we'll need to really build good optimization before we can introduce these things. So yeah, and regarding, do we have anything else? Okay, I would love see more benefits for landowners and mass holders. If you watched or listened carefully, you probably heard in some of our last community calls, when planets will align, you will need a mask or land. So this is something we've been taking care of whenever we make any decisions. So masks or lands won't be left behind, and you will need them. And as we move forward with every single thing we do, we respect and rely on our mask holders and land holders as a core of a community. And we then are building everything else around that. And I think ambassador program, which we are about going to describe and kind of hop in more details, will clearly illustrate like the relationship and the way we build these like let's call them inner circles, from inner circles to other circles, that the distinction will be clearly seen, let's say, when we have 100,000 active players, then like LAN holders and mass holders will be this super small minority. But then again, like the perks and the service and like everything else they receive will clearly distinguish them from most of our normal player groups. And by normal player groups, I'm referring to either like Web3 players, but mostly normal Web2 players who found Zverse and started playing Zverse just for sake of Zverse, without any like ulterior motives of financial like rewards or incentives. As far as I'm supporting these, I think they should be genuinely discovered due playing the game, not vice versa. So that ensures we get really good people who bring value, and then they later find themselves a bit surprised when they realize, oh shit, I can actually make money by playing the game. So yeah, let's jump on ambassador stuff. I mean, otherwise, too much time being spent on these things. So the ambassador program, and we had this thing running a while ago. We've saw some success with it. Quickly, people realized how to exploit it, so we sunsetted it. But I think there is still strong demand for that, and there should be, and it should be aligned with our values and with our vision. And like our own background is in Web2 gaming. We've been in that business for like we started more than 10 years ago. So I've seen how like free to play businesses and games have grown from small niche to game generating billions of dollars per year in revenue. And the more I've learned about that, the more I realized it's actually kind of darker than it seems from the side. And you see like the way free to play games run is they try to find ways to acquire users in any possible ways. You've probably seen so many like fake ads, but the thing is, because you see them, it means they work. So on the advertising side, most of these games, they really mislead their users in order to get cheaper installs. And whenever they get those installs, all of the game is essentially designed all of the game is essentially designed as a way to extract as much money for as long as possible. So because of nature of this design and competitiveness, most of games turn into like these exploitation fabrics, which generally amass millions of players, billions of revenue, but they don't end up giving like this nice play game experience, nor they give or share any of the fruits of success with the players who actually ended up making them. So this is something like what we realized, and when our vision has been always about making really good games which we would enjoy ourselves, it's something hard to kind of manage. I mean, if you do something, you do something really properly, and then only you succeed. And this is one of the reasons why we pivoted into Web3. We were able to take like this knowledge from these businesses. We're able to take the knowledge and experience of how the games are being built And we also think of ourselves as a natives when it comes to Web3. So these are a few of our strengths. So essentially, our vision uh, is to stand against these models and offer our players, our community members, the people who help us to grow, a way to share that success with with them, because at the end of the day, these are the ones who make it reality. And I strongly believe that the old way of these games will soon be eradicated, and we have a really good chance to be part of that. And I think an ambassador program is a really good answer. So the way we plan to build and utilize the strengths of these markets, because we know how they work, but at the same time channel like all these things into Zverse and into like the new model, this new paradigm, is we'll focus on acquiring Web2 users through traditional channels, but the moment they step inside the game, they will quickly realize that there is a ways for them to become part of game success, and that happens through a few things. Besides like mask and lance and everything, I just want I just like leave it out for now. So I'll focus just on two things. First is the V token. So the V token is uh, what would be equivalent of gems in standard games. So in standard games, gems are being sold for like real cash, and they speed up the progress. So these companies, they print out the currency, they give out the progress, and they keep all the money to themselves. For us, we plan uh, to use V for this purpose. And because V is owned by the players, it means the hard currency of the game is owned by the players themselves. And whenever players will use the cash to buy them, they will be buying them directly from other holders. So this is the one way to like hold the value and hold the value within the community and share the value within the community. On other end, we understand people, there are creators, there are just regular players who could just invite few friends. They should be rewarded by helping us to grow. And we have built a really gamified approach to ambassador program, which starts as simple as invite one friend and get some in-game coins. I mean, when you invite one friend, it doesn't really make sense to, let's say, receive 10% of revenue of what that friend will end up spending, because in most cases, the amount of money will be so insignificant, it will just confuse people. So in super early levels of this ambassador program, we will focus on valuable in-game rewards. But once you reach the threshold, you will unlock revenue share, and all of the friends who you invited prior that will give you that revenue share even retrospectively. And to give you an example, let's say I invite Jackal to play Zevers. On the day one, he's my only friend I invited, and I end up receiving like few tokens just because I invited him, maybe a few energy potions. And let's say he spends like $100 either by buying Soul Shard or by doing anything else. Uh, but because I don't have like reached the level to unlock revenue sharing yet, I don't yet receive this revenue. But this revenue share is still preserved, and once I will unlock ability to receive revenue share, I will still get all this revenue. So this becomes also as an incentive for people to progress up an ambassador program and unlock these perks. In simple words, we gamify the onboarding for ambassador program, so every player has an equal chance to become and start as an ambassador inside the Zverse. So, because we have really strong,
Euler, could I quickly
yeah,
interrupt with like a couple of questions which
oh
you've
yeah,
talked about so far? So this is like slightly this is just like a big or no, yes or no question. You mentioned that we would you were talking about gems and how they're used to speed up the processes and stuff like that, and then we're like referencing we and do you mean that for example we could some in the future be used to speed up the processes just like mobile games, or was that just a general comparison between the two?
I mean, V is already used to speed up progress in Zverse.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Next question.
Yeah,
Fine. Yeah,
it's
energy
like
potions,
I'm
right?
not saying like you buy the progress, but even in these games where you have gems, it's not necessarily like pay 1,000 gems to max level instantly. It's usually used to buy different currencies or like replenish your energy so you can play more, which gives you this head start and an advantage over other players. So we already have this design built in, and I just kind of wanted to really point out and draw the line here. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then you were talking about how, for example, I invite you to play Zevers and you're my only friend, and for example later on maybe I get more friends. Do like would like the revenue share like still accrue, but I wouldn't just get an access to it until I get enough friends playing the game that
Exactly.
so
Until you actually reach unlock like ambassador level, and I'll later address the ways how people will be able to dress like unlock it. But yeah, you're completely right, and I think this naturally makes uh, this naturally have built-in design to offer incentives to drive players into achieving more, and it's kind of these incremental jackpots. So maybe on day one you don't really care about the ambassador program, but then after a few months you realize, oh wow, there is like $100 or $1,000 which I could claim if I just reach this ambassador level, and this just moves the needle. So we don't want to like take that revenue, but we want to make sure you contribute. And and like, don't get me wrong, it won't be hard to unlock. It's actually so easy. It just will take a little bit of effort. And again, at the same time, we want to give nice user experience, so people shouldn't be overwhelmed on the day one. So yeah.
Right. Cool. Yeah. So that was the main two things that came to my mind when I heard about it. So you were talking about a lot about how like we approach it, but if wait, I know I interrupted you, but yeah, was
No.
there?
Actually, feel free to do that because
Yeah.
somebody needs to kind of hop in, so we have a nice
So
back and forth.
something actually like I learned from uh actually I also want to get around so something I learned from talking about crafting and all the upcoming skills and talking twice and for example still receiving the questions. I realize it's so hard to especially take in such huge change and yeah, so what I kind of wanted you to guide us through is like a quick setup. Are so there's gonna be levels, right? Like how many levels could there be, and like what could be the increases? And you mentioned something about like initial rewards and what would be the early incentives and how could it scale, and just give a brief overview, just so everybody gets like the understanding of the skeleton,
Mhm.
proposed skeleton of the
Makes
program.
Yeah, yeah, totally makes sense. So initially, like initial design features 15 levels, uh, where every level has certain requirements to advance and at the same time every level offers certain perks and rewards upon reaching it. To illustrate this, on the level 1, in order to like unlock level 1, you need to invite just one friend who just have to complete tutorial, and that will give you as a player 25 energy potions and like 2000 coins. So like please don't like, I know call is being recorded, so these are not final numbers, they may change, but just to illustrate an example. As you progress to level 2, you end up needing to invite 2 players, and this will give you 5,000 coins, it will give you 50 energy potions, and it will give you like 1,000 V token. Now let's jump straight to like level 4. Invite 4 friends and receive all the previous things with higher quantities and like a special weapon which can be only obtained through like inviting friends. But the moment you complete these levels, the next level is actually unlocking Ambassador program itself. And this gives you access to special group in Discord, but more importantly, it unlocks the first referral level. In total, there are 5 referral levels. So in practice, that means if I invite you, Jackal, and you end up either staking V token or spending inside a game, I will receive 20% of that. On at level 10, I already have unlocked 3 out of
Wait,
5 referral levels.
so just to quickly circle back, you were mentioning about staking, and what was the percentage of it?
In total, we plan like with every level you unlock, these percentages are increasing. Right now, it's set to be 20% from the level 1, and it scales up to 30%. But in total rev share is planned to be up to 50% from all of the like levels combined. So
So,
it's actually
you
on really
invite
high
me.
end.
So you
Yeah,
invite me, and I go and stake 1 million on-chain V in the staking page, and you
correct.
receive instantly 200,000 V, uh, like
Correct.
in your wallet,
Yes.
to free to
Yes.
do as
Or
you
or
please.
you end up spending like $1,000, and I will instantly receive $200 of that. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
I do need to stake them for a specified like a commitment, right? Like
yeah. Obviously,
6 or yeah.
it will most likely be built around 1 year staking period because like it's
Yeah,
it's really high percentage we plan to share on this. And we've been like super conservative around the V tokens all this while, and I think as we start to approach our TGE, we really need to start using this like dry powder, and we plan to like heavily reward community around that in a meaningful way, because when this happens, it just helps whole project to grow, and I just think it makes so much sense. So, but yeah, you're correct, and let's say you invite another friend. Let's be it. Who can it be? Can be
Kiwi.
Pedro. Kiwi. You invite Kiwi. So Kiwi also, let's say, end up staking 1 million V token, or he ends up spending $1,000. whichever, this will grant you anywhere 5%. This will give me anywhere between 5 to 10% from whatever he spends, depending on my ambassador level. So in this example, let's say it's 10%. So because you invited Kiwi and invited you, I will receive like 100,000 V whenever Kiwi stakes, and I will receive $100, aka 10% if he spends $1,000, while you end up receiving respectively 20% of that.
Wait, so that's
And
on
like,
so that's on top of it. Sorry. So Kiwi stakes. Let's take the 1 million. So Kiwi stakes 1 million V.
yeah.
Because I invited Kiwi, I received 20% of it, which is 200,000 V, and on top of it, you receive, what is it, 40,000 V, or because
So if
20%?
you invite Kiwi and Kiwi stakes 1 million V token, I will receive 100,000 V token because of 10%. You will receive
Oh,
200,000 V
yeah,
because of 20%. Yeah, and
so pretty
these
juicy.
referral, yeah, it's pretty juicy. And I mean, the goal is here to build kind of to build a network, and then and kind of like what we already see happening with the tribes and people like uh, building tribes around themselves. So this structure will just ensure while the people you ended up inviting are still active, you end up like earning and receiving from that. And the way we want to design this is, obviously there needs to be like some instant gratification. So whenever you stake to and by the way, like staking V will be one of the components to unlock the higher ambassador levels. It gives you like this instant gratification, while all the sustainability actually comes from the revenue side. So let's say even after 1 year, Kiwi ends up spending some money inside the Zverse. I will still receive like benefits from that, and I will still receive revenue from that. So it's kind of like aligning instant incentives versus long term incentives, and yeah. So and this actually goes 5 level deep. So higher ambassador levels will unlock these extra levels, and that means I can actually get a slight percentage of everybody who ends up inviting friends who ends up inviting friends. So in this particular example, I invited you, you invited like Kiwi probably have few friends, not probably, I know he have lots of friends, and those guys will end up probably inviting something. So down the road, exactly, Broom, you just illustrated the crypto in the nutshell. Lol. Yeah.
Crypto within
So
crypto within crypto.
yeah, and I mean, like we studied a lot of these programs, and what I've learned was there is always these extreme cases where people get some people like really outperform everybody else, and they make it count, and I think it just makes sense. So yeah, and I think it just makes so much sense that we can design it in a way where we can like reward these people like really deep down if they ended up bringing so much value to Zevers. Because in many cases, what we've seen is this, and actually this is something I've seen personally in crypto space altogether. Is I have like this one friend who invited me to this event, and I met another guy who ended up inviting me to this VC fund, who then ended up introducing me to another VC fund, which actually ended up making investment and ended up being like super helpful partner for us. but this original guy down the chain doesn't receive any benefits of that. And I mean, if we can put this in a system, I think it just makes sense and it's so fair. And also, it becomes a really good policy to build a demand around the V token. Because let's be real, at the end of the day, one of the best marketing for the projects is token price goes up. And having these basic rules being built in will for sure ensure that there is like some demand combined, at least not as a sink, but at least a way for people to put their V token to good use, rather than simply holding it or staking it to farm yield. So yeah, um, that's pretty much the way. I hope that gives some clarity. But as we will like dig deeper into ambassador program itself, it's not just about like inviting friends. It's not just about staking the token. What we're looking here is to uh, identify the incentives for people who actively want to help, uh, and find a way to reward them, and at the same time find a way how that benefits everybody else in the process, in the short term and in the long term. So I think this is a pretty unique approach, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this. Like I said, feel free to either dropping me a DM, or like posting the questions either in general after this community call. But yeah, and I think this is kind of a way how we can change the way the games are being distributed, and in return, the value then channeled back to the people who ended up helping us to distribute it. So we have a pretty good plan how to push this forward. So yeah,
Good, good. I mean, I love the incentives. Obviously, I don't think I'll ever be able to get like to the higher end, but as much as we also like as I understood, like having like these gratifying rewards at earlier stages, uh, it's great. Obviously, for me, I naturally have a question about how will the integrity of the invites will be checked and stuff like that. But obviously, we can cover that at later stages, closer to launch of it. But
yeah.
I do have to ask you the big one. Will this referral program work retroactively? Like, will your previous referrals will be taken into account, or as the question went, will you be able to enter a code or some sort? And it would be good to address
So
this to a great extent.
yeah, totally. So the first is this referral system will feature referral code, not ambassador tokens, because ambassador tokens were pretty much exploited, and that also means like that program is sunsetted, and we won't be like retroact like we won't be like taking existing players into the count on this. So there are ways for you to like I mean that's a good question, but obviously when we launch a new system which is built completely on different rails, we can't like reattach everything back all together. uh, However, like this made me think maybe there is a way of like slight boost we could like create out of this. We'll have to think more, but like technically these are two completely different systems and completely two different ways how they work, based on what we had previously. But I know some people will want, I'm already seeing here. Yeah, some people for sure will want to have a way to re-engage maybe people who they invited a long time ago and they're not anymore around. So they made so this like middle ground. This could be like a middle ground for that. But essentially, mm, essentially with this system we are looking forward, and technically it's on different rails. And also there was so much fraud in last ambassador program where many of invitees received fraudulent tokens, which then would need lots of investigation to figure out who's real, who's not. And yeah, so okay, why not repeat Harvester? I mean, Harvester was
Please don't
organized by
repeat
Treasure.
Harvester.
Yeah. So yeah. Short answer is no. Long answer is we will look for ways to offer these tools to re-engage already invited players in a new way, where it could be fair to people who invited them, but also fair to everybody else. So yeah. And like I said, we'll probably share more details in either a Medium post of how this works, and it will be introduced in the stages. But our general idea is we really want to make this ambassador system gamified, where every player has a chance to start playing game and maybe inviting just one friend, and step by step unlocking the possibility to okay. Do we have
I
sound
can hear
now?
you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, all right, cool.
Okay.
All right,
Okay. We're
cool.
back.
Yeah. False alarm. False alarm. So
Uh,
you kind of cut off at one moment. and then I asked about when could we expect that, but I don't know
Oh,
exactly the moment that cut off. Perhaps there was like still a thought you were trying to finish.
yeah, I think my last thought was I was addressing Tyler's question on does Mask or Lance will play a new role in the ambassador program, and because these levels and the requirements for them to be unlocked are tiered, uh, there will be levels which will require you to either hold a mask or land, because I think it makes sense if you're like early, like low level ambassador. For sure, you should be a player. Otherwise, how can you represent the game? If you're a high level ambassador, you should be part of core community because how else can you represent the core community at that level if you don't at least hold this asset and if you are not like part of this. And the beauty of ambassador program is I think the moment you get to that point you will actually earn enough to be able to afford the mask if uh, the floor price won't be through the roof by that point. But yeah, so that's what I was saying. So before
Oh wait, when?
yeah, next question was when. So we planned. So again, after planets align, so we obviously have these. There will be beta rolling out, and there will be stuff happening. So we plan to introduce this together with open beta, and probably not all the program at once. But yeah, it will be one of our priorities when it comes to scaling, and I think this will also perfectly complement our Play to Airdrop program because our goal is to grow really rapidly when we kind of uh, feel ready. And I think we've been building the game, we've been building the product for years, and when the beta is open, our goal is then to really start to scale aggressively. So we won't be like uh, we will kind of shift a bit of our policies from being super conservative around like V token distribution into becoming more aggressive if that helps growth. So uh, yeah, and it's kind of like slowly, and then all at once. So you can expect to have ambassador program live with the open beta, and that's also the time when we're planning to introduce play to airdrop campaign as well. So there will be lots of incentives for people to be really useful and end up being rewarded. And I strongly believe when these things start materialize, then yeah, I mean like it's weird how you see the success forming. It's usually happens like overnight, but in practice it has been so much work invested prior to that, and we've done everything to set up like the uh, Lego bricks and everything in order to have this overnight success. And yeah, so uh, ambassador is going live with the beta, and play to airdrop soon following after. So we'll be supercharging this, and we'll make you soon DM. That's actually
Oh my,
that's
I
something
instantly
could be
favorited the
trademarkable.
Tyler's. I instantly favorited the Tyler's gift because oh my god,
Uh,
um, that's so good.
so so yeah, our ambassador program, like previous ambassador program, had like I think 2 level referral fees being shared to ambassadors. This one will feature up to 5 level deep. That means invite as many people as you can, and at some point you may you may find that you are actually receiving some revenue share or some taking rebates from thousands of people, which I think is exciting idea. The way the program itself is designed is that you should be actively participating, and once the job is done, you can expect to have also long-term rewards coming in long after uh, long after that, and I think that's something we really want to make become reality. And another thing which I can add is we will also plan like a special some rewards and special merch um, for certain ambassador levels, and we've seen like really strong uh, like let's call that a demand, but strong interest from players how they could acquire some of the merch. And I think this could also be one way how we can just naturally reward our ambassadors with really cool stuff, really cool viewer stuff. So yeah.
Very cool. We've been running for like 90 minutes already. I think we should aim to wrap up soon as well.
Yeah. I think we can start wrapping up. There is one question about roughly average number of online players. So our average DAU is holding strong around 1.5 thousand every single day. It has been fluctuating um, around this number for a good while. So it's a pretty good sign that players who have been around for a good while is sticking around. This gives us confidence that we are making something what people like and love. So it's actually a really good thing you pointed out. We will be able to use this as a benchmark, and we'll be able to compare it with a beta. And I think one really good benchmark we had was latest post on our Twitter, or X, where we found one of these early versions of Zevers and posted like a video of that. See how far we have grown and developed from super early prototypes. So it's always nice to look back and have these points where we can see how much we've progressed. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to like reopen it again and look at it. I'll drop the link in the chat for anybody who wants to take a look. That is incredible when you really think about it, because it's not that much time that has passed ever since this was created, and yeah.
Yeah, that's
Also, congrats, Broom, on chief status. Holy, welcome to the club. And on that note, Broom asked about did we talk about mask reveal, and could you quickly touch upon it as well?
Yeah, so this is being actively developed. We've shared, like, I think, few leaks, sneak peeks. They were actually more like leaks rather than sneak peeks. But we won't share a date soon, TM. But there is a high chance that when planets align, we will also see some of this stuff coming out. So I'll leave this at that.
Very cool. All right. There's some little yap I want to talk about. The giveaway and stuff like that. But yeah, are there like some closing remarks, words you want to like still say?
Yeah, I mean, as always, happy to see such a big crowd, and I feel blessed that I'm able to like share this every single week with so many of you. And ambassador program is something I think will play a really crucial role into growth of Zevers. So I really want you to feel free to reach out to me or like really post suggestions and feedback around the way it should be designed, because this is no different as anything else. We're building this out in the public, so you have a pretty big say on how things should be built, and we want to actually go pretty crazy with this because uh, I haven't seen games or yeah, I haven't seen anyone actually sharing 50% of revenue and then giving like kickbacks for staking at that large amount as we are planning to do. So I'm super excited to see the way it will play out. So yeah, feel free to drop me questions personally or on the channels. I think we managed to answer a bunch of questions and just shed a bit of light around what's coming next and ambassador program itself. So we could wrap up on that note. It's been almost like 90 minutes. So yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah. So closing words from me. I've taken already the screenshot at a time you did not know when. I've taken a screenshot of all of the participants. I will write down all the names and then I will go through because I'm here with you every day. I know majority of you, and I go through like and check the profiles and the join dates and like of people that joined. And if I see like you're here today, but you've literally never even claimed it, like the daily coins or stuff like that. It's very apparent when an account isn't like a real community member or that feels like it's like an alt account or a spam account. uh, I don't include them into the list because it is a community call where we like get closer to you guys, get your feedback, and for me, and I know for Euler and for us, it's important that a mass goes into hands of a community member. What I will do, I don't know what CoffeeRax is sharing, but we are deleting this. We will meet over in the campfire chance, and I will give CoffeeRax ability to stream, and I will give him also the list of all participants today, so he can draw. He can host the draw himself over at our campfire chance, and then I believe he had a raffle of his own, and then he can hold that as well. So yeah, something like that. So guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for the warm welcome back, and yeah, it is an incredibly exciting time ahead of us, and yeah, I'm just glad you're here for the ride. And honestly, I'm glad I'm here for the ride. So yeah, guys, once again, thank you for coming, and see you next week. Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.